Let me paint you a picture. You have a stable job, you pay your bills on time, you are not doing anything obviously wrong with money, and yet at the end of every month there is almost nothing left. No real savings, no real progress, just the quiet, unsettling feeling that you are working harder than ever and somehow staying exactly in the same place. And the worst part is, you cannot even point to what went wrong, because nothing went dramatically wrong. You did not make one big terrible decision. You just did what everyone around you does, what your parents did, what your colleagues do, what the culture and the algorithm quietly told you was completely normal. That is exactly the problem. Because some of the most expensive financial traps in modern life are not the obvious ones. They are not the gambling debts or the reckless splurges. They are the normal ones. The ones nobody questions because everybody does them. The ones that feel so reasonable and so ordinary that calling them traps sounds almost offensive. Today I want to walk through some of those traps, not to make you feel bad, but because once you can see them clearly, they lose most of their power over you. Before we continue, if you have watched the entire video and still have questions, please let me know in the comments and I will answer as soon as possible. The first one is so embedded in how we think about adult life that most people never examine it at all. It is the belief that a bigger income automatically means a better financial position. When most people get a raise or land a better job, they feel genuinely more secure. And for a brief moment they are. But then something quietly happens. The lifestyle adjusts. The car gets upgraded. The apartment gets bigger. The dinners get slightly more expensive. The subscriptions multiply. Economists call this lifestyle inflation. But what it actually feels like is just living normally at your new income level. It feels earned. It feels deserved. And in many ways it is. But the result is that the gap between what comes in and what goes out stays almost exactly the same regardless of how much the income grows. And that gap, that space between earning and spending, is the only place where financial progress actually lives. The trap is not the spending itself. The trap is assuming more income solves the problem automatically without any intentional decision about what to do with the difference. The second trap is one the entire consumer economy depends on. It is paying full price for convenience. Think about how much of your monthly spending is not really about the thing itself. It is about the friction of not having planned ahead. The food delivery because there was nothing ready at home. The last-minute booking because the date crept up. The premium subscription because canceling takes too many steps. These decisions are not signs of weakness. They are signs of a life that moves fast inside an environment specifically designed to monetize the moments when you are tired or unprepared. The system profits from your friction. And most of the spending that quietly drains middle-class finances is not the big intentional purchases. It is the accumulation of small convenience costs that individually feel trivial and collectively represent an enormous amount of money leaving every single month. And before we go further, if this content is making you think about money slightly differently, it would mean a lot if you subscribed. I make these videos for people who want something honest and grounded. Subscribing makes sure you do not miss the next one. It genuinely helps more than you know. Now back to it. The third trap is perhaps the most psychologically interesting one. It is keeping up financially with the people immediately around you. Not celebrities, not the ultra-wealthy, just the neighbors, the colleagues, the friends whose lifestyle is visible and comparable to your own. Research consistently shows that our sense of financial well-being is measured relative to the people we can see, which means if the people around you are quietly extending themselves financially to maintain a certain appearance, and you are doing the same to keep pace, everyone in that circle is spending beyond what is comfortable to match, a standard nobody in the group can actually afford. It is one of the most expensive unspoken social agreements humans make. Nobody announces it. It just happens gradually through 1,000 small signals about what normal looks like in your corner of the world. The cost is not just financial. It is the anxiety of maintaining something that was never quite real to begin with. The fourth trap catches people the most off guard because it arrives dressed as responsibility. It is the belief that debt for things that feel important is fundamentally different from other debt. The car loan that felt necessary for the commute. The credit card balance that built up during a genuinely difficult period. The buy now, pay later arrangement that felt urgent in the moment. None of these feel like traps when they happen. They feel like practical solutions. And sometimes they genuinely are. The issue is the interest quietly compounding in the background while life is fully lived in the foreground. Compound interest works in both directions. The same force that slowly builds wealth when it works for you, slowly dismantles it when it works against you. The middle class tends to be paying interest on consumption while not yet earning interest on savings. Living in the expensive middle of that equation without fully seeing it. So what actually changes things? Not a dramatic overhaul, not an extreme budget. What changes things is making the invisible visible, seeing lifestyle inflation before it fully absorbs a raise, recognizing convenience spending as a category worth examining, noticing when social pressure is quietly making financial decisions instead of actual preference, understanding which debts are compounding and addressing those with genuine priority. None of this requires becoming a different person. It requires becoming slightly more awake to the mechanisms that keep hardworking, responsible people financially stuck despite doing almost everything right. The traps work precisely because they are normal. The moment you can name them clearly, the grip loosens considerably. Here is what I want to leave you with. If you are somewhere in the middle, earning reasonably, spending reasonably, and still wondering why progress feels slow, you are probably not doing anything dramatically wrong. You are navigating systems that were not designed with your financial progress as the priority. Systems built for consumption, convenience, and comparison. Keeping balance is just manageable enough that you keep going without examining the deeper pattern. The fact that you are asking these questions puts you ahead of where most people sit. Not because you are better than anyone, but because awareness is the first movement. The small, quiet shift that makes every subsequent decision slightly more intentional and slightly more your own. Progress does not announce itself. It is just the slow, steady result of seeing clearly and choosing a little more deliberately each time, and that you can start doing right now, with what you already have, exactly where you already are. And if this video made you think, if even one part of it landed for you, subscribing is the best way to make sure you catch the next one. All of it honest, grounded, and built for real life. It would be great to have you here for it.